Previously on Town Hall 11 Free-to-Play, we discussed what was the most useless magic item in the game. Today, let's take a look at basic mistakes that could be hurting you at Town Hall 11. Did you know that bad habits that you pick up down at the lower Town Hall levels could be the very thing that are stopping you from 3-starring at the higher Town Hall levels? That is definitely a thing and quite possibly something that I've failed to mention. What's going on, guys? My name is Joe and welcome back for episode 52 of the Town Hall 11 free-to-play series. And the other day we did a video labeled How Not to Suck, and it was really more driven towards the clan war audience that are having a really difficult time selecting an army versus the bases that they're going against. And my advice in that video was select an army and master it before moving on to the next, because if you fully understand the mechanics of the attack that you're using, you will be able to kind of become a little bit better at 3-starring. Now, one thing that I have not mentioned is a lot of the basics that you learn down in the lower Town Hall levels, i.e. funneling a base, could also be contributing to why you're failing an attack. So we're going to take a look at a replay over here in Clan War, and this was actually done on one of my clanmates over here, King Brandon. Now, the attack itself was the Pekka Bobat, and I think we're going to do a little bit of Pekka Bobat today. Now, Brandon's base is actually a very common base design. We've seen this one many times over the years. Island set, Inferno Towers. We have the Eagle Artillery surrounded by Expos over on this side of the base, and the army itself is a really good army. It's the Pekkas, it's got some Electro Dragons for some funneling, and we also have the bat spells for the back end of the base. So overall, we have the makings of what could be a very good solid 3-star attack, but the army itself and how it was executed from my perspective was very lucky 3-star. This turned into a very lucky 3-star. Now, I need you to understand that each section of your army has a different placement, and what that means is that you're going to start out with certain things. So in this case, we're going to start out with the Electro Dragons. The Electro Dragons should be used to clear out buildings. That way you can send the bulk of your army to the core of the base to eliminate the clan castle troops, the Archer Queen, the Eagle Artillery, things of that nature. And so the main group of army would be the Pekkas, Bowlers, Healers, the King, Queen, Grand Warden. You can always use your King as a funneler as well if the Electro Dragons fail. So in this situation, this is how this attack is going to start. We're going to start on the left side of the base because his intent was pretty accurate. You want to get rid of the Archer Queen, you want to get rid of the Eagle Artillery, and you need to clear out the clan castle troops. That is actually quite accurate. But his placement of troops might not have been the best, and so we're going to have a little bit of overkill with Electro Dragons. So we have one Electro Dragon place battling it out versus one single building at a time, and now it's getting some chain value inside the base or inside these compartments. We have another Electro Dragon place that could have been doing the same exact thing that the first one was doing. So we've already kind of wasted about 30 housing space just on this one Electro Dragon that actually could have been placed over here to start clearing out these buildings. And so because of this negligence, because of ignoring or not funneling the base properly, here's what's going to ultimately happen. We're going to see the wall wrecker dropped, and then we're going to see one single bowler dropped, and this is just not wide enough of a funnel for the Pekkas, and the Pekkas are going to see this. They're going to be dropped in the far left corner, but then they're going to walk this entire line, and the reason why they did not go inside the base is because all these buildings right here were destroyed. So because of the initial funneling of this base, this attack is going to go all sorts of crazy instead of going exactly how the attacker wanted it to go. The Pekkas are going to split, the bowlers are going to go off by themselves, the wall wrecker's going to die. Sure, there's going to be a rage spell dropped, but there's nothing in here to deal with this Electro Dragon and balloon that came from the defending clan castle. You see what I'm saying right here? This is a major issue, and so these bowlers in here by themselves, sure, they're going to get some bounces and destroy some buildings right here, but ultimately they're going to get taken out by these this Electro Dragon and balloon combination on defense. Now the Pekkas have ventured off on towards the bottom side of the base, which is going to come into range of a single target Inferno Tower. Pekkas versus single targets, you guys know exactly how this is going to go, and that Electro Dragon has eliminated a bulk of the army. So realistically, we've already wasted a bulk of this, this army itself by losing the bowlers, losing the wall wrecker very early on, losing the Electro Dragons, and so what he's going to do to try to rebound it is he's going to do a bat bomb. So he's going to drop all of the bats in one location inside the base instead of on the outer perimeter where you turn it into a wave, so to speak. So our bats are dropped. The queen is eliminated. The Electro Dragon, her ability had to be used. And the Pekkas and king are doing exactly what they normally do. They venture off and start taking out the buildings around the outsides of the base, while the bats have to negotiate the rest of this base, trying to bounce around through all these different defenses. And we have one more freeze spell left in the composition. The Barb King's ability was used to eliminate the king, and the bats are going to go onto the final compartment. The final freeze spell is going to be used, and it will actually run out. So the wizard tower will be successful in elimination of bats. Thankfully for this attacker, the queen comes around the top side of the base and will eliminate that wizard tower, and our Pekkas on the opposite side will try to save this attack. So we still have the Grand Warden's ability. So you'll see how this entire attack completely fell apart. Now, even though it's a 3-star, and I don't want to take away a 3-star from you, if you're 3-starring, then great, you know what I mean? But I can look at an attack and tell you that this is not exactly what was intended to happen. And in order to fix it, the troops have to be used correctly. And I know that's like easier said than done, because if you don't even know what you're looking at, you won't understand what I'm trying to say here. And so the queen's going to be successful with taking down the town hall. But in all actuality, when we look at this attack, that wall wrecker should have crossed all the way through the center of the base and brought the troops to the very core of this base and then flanked in the bats. So I'm going to go out and do some raiding today to try to show some examples of how this army could be used properly. But before we do that, I want to take a look at an attack from one of my clanmates that was also a bad funneling situation. So let's take a look at this attack here by Med. Now, I'm sure Med knows exactly what went wrong in this attack, but I want to point out some things about it that could have been done slightly different to make it turn into a 3-star attack. His entry point, spot on. Perfect entry point here. He uses the ice golems, witches, bowlers, and bats attack that we used yesterday, and he's coming in initially right here in this area. He's going to bring the wall wrecker up through this location to take on these wizard towers. We got a bunch of wizard towers, we got an eagle artillery, single target inferno tower, a couple of expos, and we also have the clan castle troops. But what's going to ultimately happen here is that these buildings on the upper portion of the base are going to be what hurts him in the end. So let's see here. We're going to start out down here in the bottom side of the base with a wizard and archer, and they're going to get taken out by this archer tower. So just not enough juice down there to do some funneling. Baby Dragon's going to be placed, but the Baby Dragon is taking on a bunch of useless buildings. So he's trying to do some funneling here, but that Baby Dragon's going to be pulled into the base instead of being, moved up here. I think it should have been dropped right about here to take on this archer tower, eliminate these buildings here to help out with the attack. Either way, so moving on, we have ice golems, bowlers, and witches placed. We're going to back it up with the wall wrecker, and then we're going to see the barbarian king, the archer queen, and the grand warden. So I need you to understand that the barbarian king has more than one use than being inside the base. The barb king is more effective on the outside of the base to do clearance of buildings and assist your attack. He does very well in here with the assistance and blocking for your troops, but he could have been used up here instead to eliminate these buildings. It's just my thought process when I initially watched this attack is the Barb King should have been placed on the outside instead of going in with the main group of troops. Either way, so as everything moves through, we got a rage spell dropped. They're going to take on the enemy clan castle troops, which happen to be Dragon, Baby Dragon, and Balloon, and we got a poison spell placed for them. Grand Warden's ability used to protect our troops a little bit longer, and they're going to take out that Eagle Artillery and continue to move on deeper in the base. Grand Warden, or the Barbarian King's ability will be used. He will continue on taking out multiple buildings. That Wall Wrecker gets all the way through the backside of the base. I mean, amazing work here with the Wall Wrecker, clearing out all these walls and granting access for your troops. Now, notice that there are no bats dropped yet. Very slow placement of the bats in between these troops. So what's happening here is that your troops are taking all these defenses on at the same time. There aren't any more tanking units. And so the placement of bats is just a little too slow. So the bats are going to be dropped. They're going to move into the cannon archer tower. Freeze spell dropped on the multi-target inferno tower. They're going to take it down, move through the base, taking on two different defenses, archer tower, cannon, and then we have to start seeing freeze spells dropped on the expo to give these bats time. And so he drops another freeze spell. Great placement of the freeze to stop the air defense as well as the wizard tower. Bats are going to take out the wizard tower, the air defense, and then they're going to move into the final two defenses, but you'll see what's left over on the backside of the base. gold storages, we have a couple of mines, elixir collectors, and there's just not enough troops to finish out this attack. So you see where the problem is with the placement of troops and the possibility of additional funneling with tankier units. The Barb King would have done very well over here on his own with the assistance of the bats, and also the drop between the main group of troops and the clearance troops in the bat spells. And this would have been a 3-star for sure if he would have been able to do that. But unfortunately, it's just one of those things. You learn these things as you play the game. I'm going to go ahead and speed up this attack. That way you can see the army for yourself. And then we're going to go out and do a live attack. I'm going to try to find a difficult base and do a step-by-step with the Pekka Bobat. These tricks can be applied between Pekka Bobat or this army right here. So we burned up a lot of time looking at replays. Let's look at this attack right here, and we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a step-by-step. You see this base every single day. Let's try to take it down with the Pekka Bobat, or the army that we saw at the beginning of this video. So when we look at this base, we know that the town hall's on the top side. We got to bring the wall wrecker in down here in order to be the most effective. We got to eliminate wizard towers, eagle artillery, and try to get rid of these inferno towers. So we're going to start out with one Electro Dragon first to start doing some funneling and clearance of buildings. And we're going to allow that to work on its own. We're not going to do anything to get involved here. It's strong enough to do damage on its own and take out buildings down here. Now, we could use our Barbarian King up here in the top side of the base to start eliminating buildings, but we're going to hold off on that because the clan castle's right there and the ring should extend out over here. So we don't want to pull the clan castle troops out just yet. Allowing that Electro Dragon to work to get some buildings, doing some damage in the center there. Let's go ahead and drop our king now that we've waited a little bit longer. And one of the cool things about this attack is that you can do a slight queen walk because you do have the healers. So we're going to go ahead and drop the healers with this queen. And we're going to allow that Electro Dragon to continue to work, and then it's eventually going to get taken out. So the queen is working, and we're going to go ahead and release our Pekkas, and let's release our wall wrecker, place the last Pekka, bowlers, and start working our way into the base. Let's place the Grand Warden down here, and we should have entry into the base. The king's ability has been used, and see how many buildings he's taken out up there. He's looking very nice up there. Let's go ahead and get a rage spell down for our troops to get past this queen, get rid of that eagle artillery, and let's go ahead and drop our Electro Dragon over here to start doing some damage. Let's use that Grand Warden's ability right there. Looking nice. Wall wreckers cracked into the base, and we might need to use another rage spell. Queen is going to be tied up for a second. Looking okay so far. Wall wreckers made it all the most to the town hall. Looking good right there. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and drop our... Let's go ahead and release the wall wrecker right there to get rid of that multi-target. Use the queen's ability. Let's go ahead and start releasing some bats down here. Right here maybe. There we go. And let's go ahead and freeze that wizard tower. Frozen wizard tower looking okay right now. So far, here they come. Bats are going to come around into some point defenses. Looks like we have 2 wizard towers remaining. So the Electro Dragon was unfortunately taken out because of that air defense, but we do have a wizard tower right there that we can take out with our bats. Bats are going to come around the bottom side of the base. Here they come. We have one more freeze spell for that final wizard tower. Let's go ahead and freeze it. And we've timed it just right to where we can get rid of that wizard tower. So that was actually a pretty decent walkthrough right there. So step 1. Funnel with your Electro Dragon if you're using this army. Funnel with your Barbarian King. And then step 2 would be timing it. So timing it's really hard to teach. You got to practice that to be able to understand it. And then you're going to start out with a little bit of a queen walk if you want to do that. You don't have to do that. But then you're going to move into Pekkas, bowlers, wall wrecker placement, followed up by the Grand Warden. Rage spells are going to be used to get those troops in there to take out those really tough defenses like the Eagle Artillery, the Inferno Towers, the Clan Castle troops. And then once everything starts to develop very nicely with your main group of troops, then you're going to flank in your bats. The placement of your bats is going to be really based on the base that you're facing off against. That might change depending on where you are in the attack, but don't wait so long that you lose your Pekkas and you have nothing inside tanking for your bats, because you could be distracting those wizard towers. But I think that's a decent enough example to get you by for today. We might follow up on this video again next week. If you enjoyed our content, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe if you have not done so already. And if you like watching us every single day, turn on those notifications. If you need any additional video support or you want to see this series from the very beginning, click one of those links over there and we will see you in the next one, guys. Take care.